The Prime Minister, Right Honourable Robinah Nabbanja, flanked by Honourable Nobert Mao, the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, and Professor Pamela Mbabazi, met Miss Joyce Msuya, the Assistant Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Deputy Emergency Relief Coordinator at the G77. They held bilateral talks with the two United Nations officials. The Prime Minister and her guest discussed a wide range of issues, especially the urgent need for response to disasters in areas such as Mount Elgon and Kasese, among others.
Been affected by climate change, including heavy storms, floods, mudslides, and this has costed us dearly. We have lost people. Some of our people have been displaced, and the affected areas are in Mountain Elgon and Mount Mezoli, that is Kasese.
On her part, Joyce Msuya, the Assistant Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Deputy Emergency Relief Coordinator, assured the Prime Minister that the United Nations is ready to support Uganda and the disaster-prone areas.
Sitting with communities in the villages and sitting down with them, having cameras, but also listening to them, what is working, what is not working, so we can actually take their voices and their aspirations, starting with dignity, to change how we operate. So as a core part of our strategy, which has changed, is true practice of accountability to affected populations, including governments.
In a related development, Nabanja held bilateral talks with Clever Gatete, the UN Under-Secretary General and Executive Secretary of the Economic Commission for Africa, UNECA. Nabanja lauded UNECA for the support they offer to Uganda, especially in assessing the performance of local governments to improve service delivery.
The voluntary local reviews could also take advantage of the parish development model. I remember talking about the parish development model when we were in Ethiopia at Sababa, to drive local actions. Therefore, more support is needed from partners like UNECA to roll out this approach across the country. Recently, the government of Uganda developed and launched a digital transformation strategy. This requires technical and financial support.
Nobert Mao, the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, expressed the need to address vulnerabilities of socio-economic transformation.
Front load what is to be done after the humanitarian intervention. Sometimes the humanitarian intervention comes and just leaves people hanging high and dry. And that's from my experience as a leader of a local government in a crisis area. And I know that people have to transit from humanitarian interventions to reconstruction to development.
Clever Gatete, the UN Under-Secretary General and Executive Secretary of the Economic Commission for Africa, UNECA, stated that Africa needs to come up with African solutions to address some of the issues affecting it.
And there is so much that can be done, but we wanted to make sure that we say what would be the alternative in terms of financing. Looking at the whole structure, looking at the debt issues, looking at the macroeconomic situation, what are the alternative for mobilizing not only there is the domestic resources where you can really improve significantly, but there is also the external resources that can fill the gap. What are the alternatives? So that we sit down together.
Uganda took over the leadership of G77 plus China from the Republic of Cuba. During the third South Summit of the G77 plus China, heads of state and government at Speak Resort Convention Center, Munyonyo, under the theme, Leaving No One Behind. The meeting was also graced by Dr. Albert Byamugisha, the head of the SDGs Secretariat in Uganda, among others.